Hi, this is Zoe, and today I'm going to talk about spiritual high. And this was something that I was enlightened about only about 2 weeks ago, and it came about as I read this summary of an article by Saint John of the Cross called "The Dark Night of the Soul," and it made me reflect on my spiritual experiences, and I think it would be very useful for you too. So sometimes you feel very close to God, and this is especially so during times of worship, and sometimes during prayer times. But what about times when we feel that God is not with us? The absence of God, and we feel all alone and almost abandoned, right? And then yet at the same time the Bible tells us that he will never leave us nor forsake us. But if that is so, then where is God? When things happen, where is God? And so many people experience this in their Christian walk. There will be this experience where it seems really dark, and St. John of the Cross calls this the dark night of the soul. And I had I had a wrong understanding of this dark night of the soul, because you see, many of us, especially in our earlier walk, we seek after the spiritual high. We seek after the feeling of being loved. We seek after the feeling of being very close to God, being able to commune with Him all the time. But St. John of the Cross talks about God's presence being there even when we don't feel it. Now, God's presence is there even when we don't feel it. And we only can understand this if we reframe our expectations, because we have put God in a box. We have expect God to turn out a certain way. So God is only there when I feel this way. But if we actually change our expectations, so there was this book I was reading, Sacred Companions by David Brenner, and he said you need to find a hidden God in the moments of your life. So he shared about this pastor who was feeling burnt out and felt like there was no presence of God. He was tired out, and so they went through an exercise, and as he quietened down and searched for God, he realized that God was in his yearning to be with him. So God's presence was there in his desire to be closer, not so much in the emotions, and just the knowledge of that comforted him. So in The Dark Night of the Soul by St. John of the Cross, he says that sometimes God doesn't quite hide himself. We think that he hides himself because God is not meeting our expectation on how he is supposed to be present. But God wants to reveal himself in a different way. He wants us to mature by this conviction and confidence of knowing that he's always there, and not only when we feel the spiritual high. So when we grow in that, we become spiritually mature and stable and steady. We're no longer seeking after the ooh factor, the emotions, the signs and the wonders, but being very grounded and rooted, knowing that God can never leave us nor forsake us. God is faithful, and even when we don't feel him, he is always there. He's hidden, and the joy of it is to find out where God is. He's in our desires. I think the fact that when we desire to know him, when we are calling out for him, and we look at that, we would realize that it is God who's giving that desire in us to be with him. And even that acknowledgement of that hunger, we know that God is in there as well. And I think that is very comforting. So the dark night of the soul is really a process of spiritual maturity, where we get to find God in the darkness, and not just seeking after the spiritual high that is ethereal, that rises and wanes with our emotions. So I hope this video helps you, and I'll see you in the next.